That will then bring me down to the trade breakup level, or the bill level as it's commonly known. Now, what you would normally see by default is your bill reference column, your item description column, quantity, unit, rate, markup, and total. This column, group or2, wouldn't normally be displayed. So what I've got to show you firstly is how you display these columns. And simply what you do is you use the select screen columns icon, or icon on the button bar. You'll see it there. It's got 3 red question marks. So when you select that button, up will pop options to allow you hide some columns or display other columns. And you can see I have a tick beside the group or2. I'm just going to untick that a second and click on the OK button, and you'll see that that column now has disappeared. So the select screen columns icon allows you to be able to display some screens, some columns, and hide others. So in that instance, what I'll do is I'll just click on it again, and I'll go and place a tick beside my group or2 column and click OK. And as you can see, with this demolitions and alterations package, I already have resourced this particular section. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the first couple of codes just to show you how, in fact, you would go about resourcing a bill using the codes that you've just established. Well, simply, obviously, you can type into the field the code. Probably not the most efficient way, in that you may inadvertently make a mistake and type in, an incorrect code. The most efficient way is to double-click on the or2 code in the or2 code column adjacent to the row that you want to apply the coding to. So, for instance, I'm just going to double-click on this, and when I double-click on the column, up will pop the code file that was established, and to assign the code, the resource, to the particular item description, you simply highlight the one you want and double-click, and it inserts that code against that item in the bill or tender document. Now, as with commonly used function in Buildsoft, the copy down of value, which is using the F4 key, of course, it is also available on the Edit drop-down menu. You'll see copy down a value there, press F4. So if the next description also needs to go to that package, you can simply position the cursor underneath the first coded item, press the F4 key. If the next also is to go to that package, down arrow, F4, 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 and so forth. Also, what you can do is, again, using the Edit drop-down menu, you'll see copy down a value. And these functions are used quite considerably. You'll all be somewhat familiar with them, probably mainly for use in the calculation sheets. But similarly, I could use the copy down a value function, where I would go Shift and F4, and then it'll ask me what line number do I want to copy down to, or how many times do I want to copy it down. So you can see I have these uncoded down to line 6, so I just say copy down to line 6, and it duplicates it down to line 6. So to resource items in a bill or tender document, you simply firstly display the screen columns to show on screen the grouping code that you want to use. And then once you have it displayed, you can simply double-click on the item beside the description you want to resource, and then select the code by double-clicking, and it will insert the code into the grouping column. So as you can see, I'm just going to scroll down through the demolitions and alterations element. As you can see here, what I've done is I have assigned all of the demolitions and alterations to a grouping I'm calling Builder's Work. I'll come out of that section, that element, back to the summary, and go into the internal walls partitions section. So I'm going to double-click and go in there. And as you can see, I have sections in here, multiple sections, but the first one you see there is floor, walls, and ceiling finishes. And you can see also, because the R2 column is displayed using the select screen columns, that this particular section has been resourced to what I'm calling plastering. And again, it is no different than previous. You display the R2 column, and then you can either type in your code, or the most efficient way is to double-click on the cell, select the code you want, and double-click, and it will be assigned against that particular item in the bill. So there's one final section, and I'm just going to come out of this internal walls partitions and into internal walls completions to show you how you can resource sections of a bill or tender document into multiple packages. And as an example here, what I'll do is I'll open up internal walls completions, and what you'll see initially is the woodwork section, and there are items in here, doors, leads, frames and associated members, glazing, stop beads and so forth, door frames and architraves, and so forth. In reality, what we would want to do is, if we're requesting prices from subcontractors, we may want to send this entire section to a woodwork supply or doors and window supply subcontractor or supplier, and we also want to maybe send this same section of the bill to the carpentry fixing or woodwork fixing. And so to do that, using the R2 code column at level 2, you can only assign one code. So as you can see in this column here, I have no codes at all. The reason being is because you can, at this level, you can only assign one code. So what you must do if you are assigning sections of a bill to multiple packages, multiple supplier packages, you must use the rate column. You must use the rate build-up sheet. So as an example, what I'll do is on line 1 there, I will double-click on the rate cell, and it will drill down into the rate build-up sheet for that particular item. Now again, what you'll see here is I have my group R2 column shown. This again may not be shown by default, and you would have to use the select screen columns option, which is on the button bar at the top, same as the previous level, to highlight the group R2 column, tick it, and click OK so that it displays. Now, once you have displayed a column, it will remain visible. So you don't have to consistently turn it on, turn it off. Whatever your last settings were, it will remember when you go to open the job again, those columns will be displayed. But should you want to hide them, again, what you must do is go to the Select Screen Columns icon, click on it, and select or unselect the columns that you don't want to show. So as you can see, what I've done here is, in this particular rate, I have assigned two codes, woodwork supply and woodwork fixing. So I'll just come back up from the rate here to show you that that now is assigned to this particular item. So that description, woodwork, will go to two separate packages, subcontractor packages. One called woodwork supply, one called woodwork fixing. As with the previous level, where we looked at just putting one code into the group R2 column and then duplicating that down, the same thing applies with the first rate that you build up with the two codes that have been resourced. You can use the F4 key to duplicate the rate down to the next cell and the next cell and the next cell and the next cell and so forth, or you can use the copy down a value, which is what I used here to duplicate this rate all the way down, duplicate the resourcing all the way down to apply it to all the items as far as line 39, which is the last item in the woodwork section of internal walls completion. Now, you'll notice that the last section here is painting and decorating. So naturally, what I'll want to do is send this section to a painting and decorating individual package. So what I'm going to show you here is how you can use the rate build-up sheets to multiple code items into various packages, and then also in the same section, internal walls completion, code on level 2 an item individually to a different package. So I'm going to put this item, painting and decorating, to the painting package. Again, I highlight the cell and the column adjacent to the row that I want to code. I double click, and up will pop the R2 code files. I select the one that I want, double click, and it drops it in and associates it with the particular item. Again, instead of, I mean, of course I could just double click and assign the next one, but possibly the most efficient way is to use the copy above field, which will allow me to just press F4, 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 and that now has coded that those 6 items to the painting package. So, as you can see, the work that's involved in resourcing or coding up a bill of quantities means what you do is you go into each package and you display the R2 code file column, and then once it is displayed, you can then double click on the R2 code column to bring up your code file and then associate your code. And then, so that must be done. You must go down through each section of your bill and code up your bill, your packages in that way. And just to recap again, in the internal walls completion section, I have used the rate build-up sheet to apply more than one code where I would want to send descriptions to more than one subcontractor for different works. In this instance, it's woodwork supply and woodwork fixing. So once you have your bill of quantities or tender document coded completely, what you then must do is you return out of the job to the job manager screen. Once you're on the job manager screen, you must run what we call the OR code or R2 code analysis on the job. Now this is available on the drop-down menu here, analysis. Just highlight that again under the analysis option here. There are also shortcut keys, shortcut buttons for these across the button bar at the top here. You've got OR, R2. So you can use the shortcut key button bar icon on the button bar if needs be. But it is also available on the drop-down menu analysis and then perform R2 analysis. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to show you on this job we were working in called BQ to be coded. So I'll highlight that job and then I'll click perform R2 analysis. What it'll do is it'll ask you for a new job name, so I'm going to call it Trade Package Analysis, and click the OK button. It then creates a new job in the background called what you've called Trade Package Analysis. It asks you a few questions, all of which I'm not going to go through in here. Some of them are fairly straightforward. But the top option is quite important in that what it says is here, analyze rate breakup sheets. What that means is if you have coded a section of your bill or tender document to multiple packages, as I've done in the rate build-up, you need to tell the system to go looking for the codes there. So it's an analyze rate breakup sheets. Yes, I want to analyze rate breakup sheets. Now the other options are, are really fairly obvious. So I'm not going to go through all of those. But strictly speaking, if you have multiple coded